Today's matchup. Flash, Lee Young-ho. Hean, Go Sak-hyun. Shine, Lee Young-ho. Game-o, Kim Kyung-mo. StarCraft League Brood War ASL Season 3, Round 16.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the round of 16 here in the ASL. I'm Tasteless. Joined with me is the one, the only,
truly the man himself.
Archmage Danny.
That's it, our toast.
The greatest. I am very excited about today. We have a bunch of great Zerg players, but I think most exciting is actually that Flash is here.
You're not more excited about Game Over's Shine?
No, I'm not. Flash, the greatest gamer of all time, is here amongst us.
Yes.
He should be getting out of this group, but it's not going to be easy.
I think I have to disagree with you, buddy. I think that Flash is going to 2-0 with ease. I think they're not going to be a third base for a Zerg. I think no Zergs will be mining from a third base. We're barely going to make it to a defiler
It's going to be like when
tonight.
we're watching last, and the Terrans are just so good that the Zerg can't even get to high without dying.
No, I think it's
That's possible.
I think all the matches will look like ZVZ in the fact that we only see Lings and Mutas today. Okay, like I think this is like Flash. He somehow got he had the wild card at the end. He had the first pick. And he got, like, the group of his dreams. Like, this is, I think Flash is
well, to be honest,
going
his
to slaughter.
TVZ is really strong, and I think these are Zergs he's certainly better than.
Well,
his first opponent that he's going up against is Hean. I think Hean is the better out of these Zergs that we have.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Gamo's play the other day. Like, when he qualified.
He looked very good.
He looked nice. I mean, he was just against some Protoss players and stuff,
right.
and he had practiced very hard for that, and showed
great matches
good games
to
for
his
his fans.
Yeah.
As soon as I start to say that, I'm like, oh, God.
We've been doing this for so long now.
Everything's already been said. What's the point of life, really?
We just end esports now. This experiment is done.
Sometime around the year 500, the Earth should have just been hit by a meteor and just close this out. But
I mean, I agree with you. I think Game-O looks really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he's going to fare against somebody like, for instance, let's say he faces off against Hean. I think Hean's ZVZ is really solid.
Yeah.
I think you're not wrong in saying that Flash should get out of this group easily. Flash, there have been upsets before.
Yeah.
He's been dominant, but it hasn't been, I would say, completely.
I would say, like, the thing is, when I watch a Flash and last TVZ, their mechanics are just so crisp and clean that it makes the matchup look imbalanced.
It does. It really does. They're so perfect at what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's incredible that you could make the game that hard for any player at any point in time.
Yeah.
In the game.
They're just, those two are true monsters. I think anyone else against the Zergs.
The only thing that I feel like sometimes has come close is Jadon versus any Protoss that's not Bisu.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, where I'm just like, wow, this Protoss just isn't going to get to play the game today.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because a lot of times you see Protoss is crushing Zergs.
Sure.
But you're definitely right about that. That's why these are two of the best players in the whole world.
And let's not forget that Shine is playing our observer, the greatest observer in all of the Korean Peninsula.
That's right. A married man with multiple kids. I now have more kids, so I passed him in that.
That's
but
right.
He is in the ASL, so
I'd say you're a better caster than him, too. Observing, you haven't tried that yet, Artosis.
Yeah, no, that's true. Actually, I sat in to observe, like, half of a game once, and it was like, oh my God, it was so bad.
You got to focus really
like someone
hard.
had to pee or something, and they sent me over like when I was in like Shanghai.
Oh really?
Oh my God, Tasteless. I don't observe games, let me tell you.
So again, we are in the round of 16. We wrapped up the round of 24. We are thinning out the list of the top players in StarCraft 1. I got to say, we got a real pantheon of badasses duking it out here. StarCraft 1 is on the up and up. If you want to learn about Brood War so that when StarCraft Remastered comes out, this is the place to be.
It truly, truly is. And by the way, the maps, we are rotating a little bit for this round. We had Camelot and then Circuit Breaker and then Outsider in the previous round. But now we actually have Andromeda coming in. And we're moving Camelot to the middle map and Circuit Breaker to the last map. So Outsider won't be played in this round.
I hate that map.
Well, it'll be back for the round of 8. But
No!
Andromeda Open, which is kind of neat. This was a popular map for quite some time.
Really cool macro map. It's going to be fun to see how exactly the players are expanding and interacting with each other. You got a large ramp as well, which
Big
is
4-player map. Yeah,
a big factor in a ZVZ especially. Ramp size, if there is a ramp.
Well, there's like a mineral-only base that is kind of like a
in your main. Near the ramp.
Yeah, it's like above
exit?
the ramp.
Yeah.
So like if you want gas, you go down the ramp, but there's like a lot of chokes and stuff in that area. But then the center of the map is pretty open, so it's kind of an interesting map.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Thrash. The greatest gamer in the world.
Oh, I thought you said thrash. I'm like, this isn't thrash music. What are you even talking about? Yes, indeed. It is Flash. He himself. He, capital H. Beginning of sentence, middle of sentence, end of sentence, it doesn't matter. Capital H for that. Him. The one.
Flash is
He's the architect and Neo, all in one. And Morpheus.
And the Matrix itself.
Yeah.
Now, Hean, this guy has had a lot of success in StarCraft 2. He's back here competing in Brood War. By the way, this guy is probably the most charming professional gamer in all of Korea. This guy is hilarious. English, he's pretty fluent in English.
Yeah.
He's got a sense of humor. He knows how to laugh at himself. But he's very good. I do think this is, it could be very one-sided for Flash, but I think Hean can definitely put up a fight. We're going to have a better idea, probably within the first 10 minutes, of where this game's going to go.
He'll have a plan. Like, Hean will have some sort of plan that he thinks can do it, possibly, but, like, the thing is, Flash will, like, open up pretty safely, and then, like, have a bunch of Marines and medics, and, it's going to be hard.
There's a lot of dirty tricks that Zerg can use to try to just quick win against a Terran, but I feel like this is one of Flash's greatest strengths is that he pretty much doesn't lose within the first 5 minutes. He always gets to the point of game that he wanted to get to.
Exactly, and that's where his mechanics really kick in and take over.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like really hard for people to actually end up beating him.
So we'll see what exactly Hean's got in store for us. Strategy-wise, I don't think he wants to play a normal game, though. I think you have to play around the strengths of Flash. Also, though, this is a big map. I think Zerg can definitely last in a macro game.
That's a good point.
Unlike Camelot, for instance, where I think there's some fundamental issues in mid-game TVZ, it seems like.
It is quite a good point, so maybe we will see a third base today.
Maybe. All right, guys, let's get hyped. This is Flash versus Hean. Game number 1 in the round of 16 in the ASL.
So many people here today.
Yeah.
Flash is playing.
It's packed here in the studio. Yeah, that's what you get when Flash is playing. Introducing our Terran player in the bottom right. In the white, it's Flash.
White just like his jacket.
In the bottom left, in the red, our Zerg player, Hean.
Red just like his chair. By the way, guys, we are back on twitch.tv/GSL.
Yeah.
So if you're watching from the ASL channel, I believe this is the last day we'll be using it. So you may as well migrate over or check us out on AfreecaTV.
Yes, please. So do spread the word with your friends. We decided to put this back on the GSL channel since that's where the majority of our work here with our toast and myself are at. So it's easy to find us all in one place. You don't have to hop through different channels on the internet.
Yeah.
We have the Overlord scouting northbound. We're going to see what direction the SCV is going to be sent in. And it's at this phase in Brood War, people have gotten more creative than even right before StarCraft 2 came out with scouting patterns to try to spot the Overlord.
Yeah.
Got some Flash support here. Thanks for coming down, guys. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Yeah, there's a ton of fans showing up tonight to the studio, and probably will be from here on out as the big names are coming out to play.
Yeah, we had some more sleepy days in the studio.
Well, round of 24 is kind of, it's like a pre-round.
It's like Code A or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So this is something that Flash oftentimes opens up with. Believe it or not, it's actually not always that safe to do either. He's getting his barracks on the low ground with the depot. He wants to get a wall in here so he can secure his base. Now, the truth is, if you were to get, like, let's say 4-pulled or 5-pulled, you can lose the game with this, but it seems like a lot of people just aren't going to do it against Flash.
Yeah, like if you go for something like a 4 or 5 pull, It's a 4-player map, right? So you're
No,
not only
exactly.
are hurting your economy so much by going for such an early pool, but you have to send a drone out as well. And it's like, what if they're cross spots? What if they made their barracks in their main base? Then it's not going to do any damage.
This is you can hard counter this, but it's risky and the odds are very low in your favor.
We call that a blind hard counter.
Yeah, blind hard counters.
That's I've yelled at quite a few nerds who have done things like that too. So like, well, I don't know, I guess you do this build and you did it, so I won. It's like, wow, that's pretty sick. You're so good. Like,
I guess I can't practice with you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of harassment going on here with the drone. Not a big deal though. Full wall in here for Flash. A good position for that. It's a really solid wall. Look at that, the SCV juking and jiving around these Zerglings.
So the Lings are going to come in here and try to clean up the SCV. The one thing that the Zerg wants to look for is it going to be 3 hatches or 2 hatches before layer? Both are viable, but it gives you an idea of when the Zerg's tech is going to be operational. And the Zerg, besides speed Zerglings, which are a real threat to Terran if the Terran's exposed at all, really if the game doesn't pick up for the Zerg until it gets to either Lurker tech or Mutalisk tech. And I know that we have seen very rarely, for instance, like Jaedong do like a Ling Hydra rush. Yeah. That's so obscure and hard to do.
It's just not supposed to work.
We really kind of factor it out until we actually see it. It can be very strong, but it basically is supposed to catch the Terran off guard. And it doesn't give Zerg any real opportunities later on. So it's a crazy all-in.
Yeah. Hey, you're quite right. Like, you just have to get up to that layer tech. And Flash's SCV, of course, being kept alive long enough that he sees exactly when and where this 3rd hatchery is. So everything is completely A-okay for him. He's like safe in every way, can get done exactly what he wants.
So with a 3rd hatchery up here, I think some people might look at this and be like, wow, Zerg's going into a big macro game here. Not necessarily in these positions. We'll see if he does drone up heavily, but you don't need a lot of drones right away with Zerg and Brood War. You can actually operate off of such a shockingly low number. I think a lot of StarCraft 2 Zergs will have a very hard time trying to adapt to this feeling.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things is actually knowing when to cut off your drones with Zerg in StarCraft 1.
Yeah.
It's so not like Protoss or Terran or StarCraft 2. It's completely its own thing, the economy management of Zerg in this game.
And so that doesn't mean that you don't make a lot of Zergs. It just means you don't have to. So if he sees that the 3rd hatch, for instance, at the mineral location, he doesn't necessarily, Flash doesn't necessarily say, okay, this is going to be a macro game. So because Zerg needs to get either Mutalisks or Lurkers up, there's a phase of vulnerability for the Zerg. And so we almost always see one creep colony set up here, excuse me, at the entrance. And sometimes they don't turn that into a sunken colony until the Terran actually pushes out.
Well, these are close spawns as well. If he was in the top right, you could see him leaving with an Overlord and get a sunken up from scratch. This is one of the most important things. Like, if you start playing StarCraft 1 and you start to get to a decent level, you need to know the travel distance in between your base and his base and how that relates to making sunken colonies. Because there are spots on maps that 2 players can spawn where, like, literally if Terran leaves his base and you don't have a creep colony already started, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
So the medics are now out. Terran does have the opportunity to try to come out and push through here, and you gotta appreciate when the macro phase kicks in here for Flash, because he is the best macro Terran of all time ever. And I'm not saying that like no one can compare, but it's pretty damn hard to find a Terran that can flow out units the way this guy can. So what Hean is basically bracing for is an inevitable push. Now, the strength of that push, he doesn't know, but we do, since we're obsing this. But he's actually getting a lot of barracks behind this. Late factory. In fact, I don't believe the factory's been made yet.
No.
So he's going to have a lot of muscle. He's pushing out with this initial amount. The barracks explosion occurs as the Terran pushes out, so that the reinforcements behind this can end up busting down the Zerg if the Zerg's not ready. And that's why those Lings we see are going around. He's going to try to see if he can't catch any reinforcements. Yeah,
this is exactly what you want to be doing at this point in the game as Zerg as well, because Flash knows that there's mutas on the way, right? So he needs to be on the map. He needs to be applying pressure. He doesn't want the 3rd gas to be going.
Oh, this is funny. Is he gonna scan?
I mean, I guess that he could, but he doesn't have range yet for these Marines for sure.
Like, you know what he might have done? He might have just ran over there to see if he could force the drones to move back. I guess the scan comes down there.
Yeah.
And this is just a really easy way to interrupt mining timing.
Looks like just a sunken going to be made here. And I mean,
That hurts my eyes seeing those drones in that patch.
No, totally. It'll take a bit, but they'll spread out. Kind of neat to see. You know, and this is one of the reasons why I think. Oh, drop.
Is he gonna drop?
Yeah, he's going to drop because there
awesome.
is a gas base in the middle there, and you get starport pretty late in the current meta of TVZ, so there won't be a dropship right away. And when you have mutas anyways, you can't drop there because the mutas will kill one dropship of units.
This is a great play
This
here.
is really
by Hean.
smart.
And this is a little bit out of the expectations we had here for the Zerg in this game. So Hean is really playing the map and his opponent here as well. So he's going to tech up immediately to a hive. We just saw it start there. Now, one way to look at Terran versus Zerg is to really keep in mind that there is this constant race towards getting a Defiler.
Yeah.
Because the Defiler is the most powerful unit in this matchup. In case you guys are not familiar with Broodor, it casts Dark Swarm. Anything ranged does not do damage under Dark Swarm. Splash damage does some damage, but but when the Defiler's up, the Zerg has to either try to push through and can stay on Medic Marine, or they have to switch into mech. We'll see what Flash decides to do in a little bit here, but so far, Flash seems to have basically just been playing a pretty modest macro game.
Yeah, he's playing completely standard, but I have to say, like, I talked all this smack about Flash's wrecking this group because he did get the exact group he wanted, but, like, Hean has so far out-strategized him. He's got a drone at both of those bases, and he made a Spire, against which we see that there is, for instance, like a lot of turrets being made. He's staying on this type of build, right? Just making a lot of bio units. But Hean rushing to Hive, skipping Lurkers. He's only made one Muta. He went and scouted with the Muta, okay? This was like almost to throw off Flash, and of course you're going to need some Scourge later on, but if he just rushes to Nidus, and he's got double evolution chamber, so he's just going to get upgrades for his ultras and lings, right? Because you're so mineral heavy on this map, having that free mineral only base. So Nidus, some ultras, lots of Zerglings, and Defiler, and suddenly, like, you can't really break these bases. Flash is going to have to take half the map and play a wildly long game to beat Hean.
And to go off what you're saying, Artos, is what's so cool about this is that he's playing so differently from the other Zergs we've seen. A lot of Zergs do the refugee-style ZVT where they try to eke out a Nidus at another main and have Lurkers hold that position. This is a powering Zerg play. He wants to have a massive army and actually be able to face Flash on head-to-head. And you can see almost Flash was kind of expecting to be, oh, that's cute.
He even has Burrow on the expansions. This is so wild right now. Like,
Flash is not getting to play the game he wanted to, which was trying to engage Lurkers and Mutas and Lings in the middle of the map. Instead, the Zerg is completely powered up. Did get a lot of drones this game. We said that Zergs don't always need to get a lot. They don't, but this time he did. So he's going to have a real macro engine behind in this game. And we can see now Flash goes for double starport. So he's trying to pump out a lot of science vessels. I don't know if we're going to see the mech switch. He may do SK Terran style.
Yeah, I think he will, at least at first. Like, there's just Hean has an advantage with this strategy that he's chosen against this very normal play from Flash. But he might try to get out a bunch of dropships as well and just control some of these bases, because if you have 4 gases basically for free and a mineral base as Hean, oh man, like that is, you're going to lose that as Terran if you get those that quickly.
Okay, he's actually losing way too many SCVs over here. Keep in mind, it's very difficult for Flash to actually maneuver all of these control groups of Marines around here. And this is, oh, hold up.
See, this makes sense that he's actually made a
double
bunch of
drop ship.
ships.
Okay, wow. I thought it was science vessels, but that actually does make sense. He needs to unload on that island.
Yeah, he'll definitely go into science vessels after this, but like having a few drop ships out are going to help him to actually put some pressure on these bases. You can't really right now as Hean. He's played very greedily. You can't have everything at the moment.
Okay, he's coming in.
Oh boy.
We don't see any Scourge here to catch this. I believe the Scourge are actually to the right side of our screen.
Ooh, this is a good move by
Nidus is
Flash.
coming, but it's not up yet. Okay, this is bad. Is he going to look at that drop ship? No. Good control by Flash. Kind of bad control, actually, by Hean.
Yeah, a little bit of a mess up there for sure.
This is a big misplay here by Hean. He actually needed to keep the island to have the economics behind him to actually get the army that he wanted to get. But good play by Flash. The way he came in there was really unexpected.
Yeah, that was like kind of a funny angle he flew down at and stuff, and hey, it really works out. 1-1 though, done on these Lings. There's a lot of Defilers, but we already saw Flash added a bunch of Fire Bats in. He knows that Hean has to be Ling heavy because of that mineral base. So Flash, like, you know, I was just like taking back all my trash talk, but I'm like, well, I guess Flash is just really good, man. Like, he can just do whatever he wants against anything.
Well, keep in mind that the Science Vessels are going to be a little bit later. The Defensive Matrix and Irradiator are going to be very helpful to the infantry army. If he has enough Defilers, he still might be able to engulf this Terran army in melee damage and still push through. But I will say, I think a lot of the wind has been taken out of the sails of Hean's play.
It has. He does need 3 gases, at least at this point. And the fact that Flash is going to have his 3rd gas kind of before, while Hean doesn't have one, is quite painful, but he is expanding to that top base. He has drops and speed on his Overlords, so he still has a lot of things he can do. And in fact, loading up those Defilers and Lings, we might see a drop into the main base that is incredibly hard for Flash to deal with. Like, he's going to lose a lot of buildings to it.
Now, see the 2 drones in each main? He might try to make hatches at both and then just see which one actually manages to stick. And this might sound like it's bad or inefficient, but it's actually not in Brood War because everybody's so taxed as far as multitasking. Now, Terran is pushing over here to the upper left. Good catch here on the dropship. I don't believe he's not getting lurkers at all, really. So sometimes you can hold the ramp if you have like 4 or 5 lurkers up here. But this expansion is going to get pushed over.
I like that he skipped the lurkers overall, to be honest. Like, just with that extra mineral base and getting the double evolution chamber rather quickly, Ling Ultra is going to do very, very well. Ultra is not as strong as they are in StarCraft 2, but they're a lot smaller, so you can get more of them surface area-wise on the bio, and they're very good against bio.
The Ultras behave a little bit more like Brood War Zerglings in this game. And the way that they engage, they can really get in there. It's kind of hard to outmaneuver them. But this is a huge drop into the main. Now, keep in mind, the majority of the army for Flash is not over here to defend and is actually trying to push out. Flash may try to do a counterattack.
And with the lateness of those Science Vessels that you were talking about, Tasteless, very, very tough for him to actually eliminate the Defilers in here.
Right. Now, these are Lings with a Dreadnought. Now, see, the Marines cannot do anything against that. The island, by the way, at the top center was also reclaimed. Flash really on top of the map control here. Now, the Fire Bats are going to come in. Very good plague there. So that drops their HP to 1, which also bleeds out all the medic energy.
That's right. It's really annoying. Okay, now that is the Eraser. Finally, we get to end up seeing one. The splash damage from these Irradiates will slaughter all these Zerglings pretty quickly, but also it'll kill SCVs, Marines, anything like that. You have to micro it pretty intensively as well to stay on top of everything. Yeah,
keep in mind that, guys, the Science Vessels don't take any damage from the Irradiate because they're mechanical units, but it can hurt the bio units for sure. Now, this drop that came in here, I want to point out how cost-efficient this is.
It was crazy.
For the Zerg. The Lings are so expendable, and so much of the economy has been devastated. And check this out. Hean tried to sneak a hatch up and a Nidus up here to try to secure the upper right main, and it actually got spotted, which is pretty crazy because we rarely ever see that in a ZVT, but that was a great play by him.
Yeah, this is like a really clever, cool thing that we saw. Like, you need creep to build the Nidus on. And so he had to make the hatchery as well. And Hean right now has to just be like, oh my God, how are you actually stomping out everything I'm doing?
And this is very hard for the Terran, by the way, guys, to take on a map this big with this many expansions. But so far, so good. It looks like he wants to directly try to counter the drops by just having an army underneath that.
Yeah, and that's like pretty good, but these Ultras really wreck Firebats. Firebats have concussive damage, so they do very little against Ultras. Also, Firebat attack is actually a ranged attack, but it does splash
damage.
So it can work under Darkstorm, it just doesn't do that much. And when it already doesn't do that much, and then it does almost nothing against Ultras, it's like, Ultras under Storm, you need like 450 Firebats to kill a full armored Ultralisk under that.
It's actually crazy with both Protoss and Terran, when they have to deal with Dark Swarm, it's incredible what a nightmare it is. Okay, so nice Irradiate's going down. So he irradiates the Ultras. You want to set the Ultras on hold position.
Radiate does not kill an Ultralisk by itself.
That's right.
It will damage it a lot. It'll make all the Lings explode and stuff. And actually, you got to be careful at times. Like, an irradiated Ultralisk kills bio even faster. Anyways.
Good save there. Keeps the Defiler up.
Yeah, nice
he's got to watch out for the Firebats, of course. So the rest of this army should try to spill in here. Even though it doesn't seem, probably to the casual observer, that this is actually doing that much to the Terran, you have to understand how hard it is for the Terran to move their army and try to defend this. When is Hean going to be able to get back out on the map? I mean, all the dropships have been cleaned up. Hean is not stopping and expanding. In fact, he's been doing a really good job.
Yeah, he's continuing it. And look at the mini-map at this point. These drops, Flash is trying to counter them by keeping his army as main base, which means 0 map control. Yeah, he has 4 bases, and his macro is still really good. But Hean is able to take more bases right now. He's expanding during all this, and these drops are being pretty cost-efficient.
Really good placement there. The one fire bat,
yeah,
medic,
that's a super
with the Marines
wall.
back here. This is exactly how you want to try to play against a Zerg that's going for this much map dominance. He has to have all these positions secured with small little armies. Now, Flash is not going to stop making science vessels this entire game. So we might have a moment where there's a dozen science vessels flying around.
And speaking of which, that means that we should be seeing a bit more Scourge popping up here pretty quickly. Like, if you can start to pick off some of these science vessels, you lose too many of those as Terran, and you're just going to end up losing to Defiler Tech.
That's right. And so what the science vessels want to do is move out and try to irradiate all of the Ultralisks and Defilers, and occasionally you'll see a Mutaclump get irradiated, probably not at this phase of the game. And, of course, you can use Defensive Matrix to try to combat any Zerg army. At the same time, though, the Zerg is going to be flying around with Scourge, as Artosa said, and you're going to try to take those out whenever they're not under the army. So a lot of times the Marines, medics, and firebats have to escort the science vessels around.
Exactly. So anytime that the science vessels get too far out in front or anything like that, you can pick them off with Scourge. You got to be really quick about it. But look at Flash. Like, he's killing the top left before there's any drones mining. Oh, God, a huge eraser going to be coming in.
This is a great play, but it's also risky. If Scourge come out here,
sick,
nice response.
Sick counter burrow.
That was a really great play. Now, he needs to decide if he's going to stay here and try to do more damage, because Scourge are coming in.
Well, I mean, he lost a couple science vessels, and there were some good burrows there, but Flash continues to take down bases left and or right. It's kind of crazy that he's staying on top of all this. Another attack into that main base, but more science vessels are falling, so Hean is not out of this yet.
So, basically, Flash has stayed with SK Terran this entire game, but note that Hean did manage to reacquire that base at the bottom center, and that was not really a base that was mined that much of. Well, hold up. This actually might be one of the game-deciding moments. Hean has to keep this base alive. That Nidus does not have a lot of HP. It's getting targeted down now.
Well, you're definitely right about that, Tasis. That is a game-defining moment. Hean has been fighting very well on so few bases, but to lose that one once again, he's still mining. He should still remain in the game and try to get something done, but the amount that he needs a third gas, again, I cannot overstate.
Yeah, it seems like Flash has managed to outgrow Hean at this state, and of course Zerg's always in jeopardy if they don't have more bases than their opponent. That's just a fundamental rule of StarCraft, whatever iteration of StarCraft you're talking about, by the way.
And Flash has had one base up on Hean mining for like, what, 7 minutes or something crazy like that?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's a testament to the strength of Hean and the strategy he's chosen here that he is still in this game fighting. So this is the bug thing that happens when you irradiate ultras. Something that they damage everything and they're taking damage, so they try to run from it.
Yeah,
but it's like
so
they are the damage.
So you have to actually grab them and try to get them to stay in place, or they can end up running through your base and you're losing workers and everything. So the style that Flash has elected to use this game is one that's a lot more of an older school style in TVZ. He basically is just trying to continue to stamp out bases on the map and grow at a very slow rate. And eventually Zerg runs out of resources and Terran either goes for the kill or the Zerg taps out.
Yeah, and just to make this perfectly clear, as far as strategies go for Terran, this is the most APM intensive thing that you can do in the game as Terran.
I think it's actually just in the game, period.
It might be just in the game, period. Like, I would say that harassing with 2 groups of mutas is pretty damn up there, but that we almost never see. SK Terran, on the other hand, like, you have so many groups of bio, and you have to be utilizing your science vessels nonstop.
Yeah,
and there's not smart casting, so each one you have to click on for every single spell. So, the amount of speed that you have to use for this strategy actually prevents a lot of people from doing it.
Yeah, that's correct. It's one of the most taxing and demanding things in StarCraft is playing this style. But Flash is doing it, and he's doing it brilliantly right here. I think Hean's last hope is to try to secure the center-left base. In some ways, Hean's having not as much of a bad time in late game because he keeps losing bases, so at least he can expand close to himself. You know what I'm saying?
I like it, yeah.
I'm like, well, that island's still there. If you reclaim that, you know, that's just next to your main.
The base is half full of drones, according to Tasos. Jeez, that's like...
So, Flash also is eventually going to run out of resources, and that's something that Hean is definitely keeping in mind here. Eventually, Flash will have to take the upper right, and that's much easier for Zerg to try to take out than the center right base.
Also, by the way, Flash is up at 3-2 upgrades, which is really fantastic, but Hean stopped at 2-2. This can happen just because, again, no third gas. If he had a third gas for any amount of time, I'm sure he'd have 3-3, but instead, Flash is doing well upgrade-wise. Ooh.
That was a good catch.
That's always the best feeling. You see a group of Scourge getting your radiate.
That's it. GG. Hean wins, or rather, excuse me, Flash wins. What am I talking about? Flash wins game number 1. But I got to say, Hean had a really good showing. Yeah,
Hean had a really nice strategy picked out there. He did a good job. The drops of Flash, like the first double drop, and the fact that he found every hatchery every time. Like the hidden hatch with the Nidus next to him, like really Flash?
I know.
Like seriously?
Like when I saw him hiding that hatch up there, I'm like, okay, I guess he will get the upper right main, and we'll be into a very long ZVT. But Flash really was on top of everything. Also, I think Hean losing that island at the start of that was really the point where Hean lost the big advantage that he had. Because I think strategically, early on, Hean played better than Flash. But once Flash identifies that expansion, and you guys might be asking, well, isn't that an easy expansion to look for? Yeah, sure it is. But at the same time, it's easy for the Zerg to defend if they have any muted tech or Scourge up.
If he had his mutas like near that base, or he had some Scourge there, and he catches those 2 dropships, the game is over in his favor almost, you know?
All right, guys, we are going to go to a short break. When we come back, a ZVZ Shine versus Gammo. Stay tuned.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
이게 도대체 뭐야? 대박! 소름!
사돈 등록하면은 소미 캐릭터 준대요.
그래서 우리는 인공지능 어플로 한 가지 실험을 해봤습니다.
면접 때 어떤 옷을 입는 게 좋을까?
얼마 전에 산 하늘색 셔츠 있죠?
오? 부모님한테 면접 떨어진 걸 말 못했는데
부모님도 아마 알고 계실 거예요. 자신감을 가지세요.
이 놀라운 기술의 비밀은
아빠! 기죽지 말고. 기 안 죽지.
그래.
누가 아들인데.
논해보려고 해요. 남들 지적하고 이런 거 못하거든요. 남들한테 관심이 없어요. 목욕탕 갈 때 입는 옷을 평소에도 이렇게 입고 다니시는 건가요? 가오가 정신을 지배한 듯. 비율과 얼굴이 중요하다고 생각합니다. 얼굴이 크면은 이렇게 되거든. 이거 탄피인가요? 탄피인가요 이거? 근데 자켓은 이쁘네요. 이게 남자분들 여리여리. 여러분 오늘 즐거웠습니다.
월드 오브 워시. 야, 쟤 잠수함이냐? 쾌속선. 커와이네. 불기 못 맞추네, 씨. 고티어 베타물 민폐입니다. 누구시죠? 저희 죄송한데 혹시 운영자님이십니까? 나의 꿈과 희망을 실어서 간다! 어레 김현봉. 호쳐 불라. 야, 뭐야, 블랙홀이냐? 은신.
We are back at the ASL, and it's about time to go into game number 2, Artie.
Yes, the real match of the night coming up.
The ZVZ we've been
Shine
dying
versus
for.
Game-O.
So Shine is our observer for the GSL and the ASL, but we let anybody compete, and he got this far.
Yeah, it's pretty sick, actually. And, I mean, he's used some cool strategies so far. He was the most fun guy by far in the group selection.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
He was so funny. And Game-O was, like, kind of pissed at him. He was like, you need to, like, actually shut up.
Game-O actually was not quite having as much fun in the group selection as...
Well, everyone kept talking down about him and stuff. He's like, guys, I have pride as a pro gamer, too. Like, I try really hard.
16 Brood War players in the world.
It's actually
it's
a really
game
funny
ever
thing.
made.
Yeah, because it's so stratified as well, right? Because he's very good.
Yeah.
He was a good player back in the day, but he's not one of these guys. Like, we saw him leaving the building with Jaedong, and I just saw, like, there's fans crowding Jaedong, and then another guy in the same round as Jaedong right now, he's just standing there, he's like, oh, can we just go?
Could we please leave?
Oh, my God. And, I mean, with people talking trash on him in the group selection, and, like, Shine was just running his mouth like crazy. It was so funny. If you didn't see that, definitely check it out. Game-O was not too happy.
By the way, looked like one of the best Zergs we have here. Even though he's
in the round of 24, he certainly did.
he's not as notable as some of the other players here, but he actually looked really solid. Now, how will he fare in ZVZ? This is a pretty complicated matchup that looks deceptively simple to someone who doesn't play that much Brood War, where it seems like the unit count isn't that complex, but it's all about balancing Lings and drones and mutas together. One or two small mistakes and the game falls apart. It's a game that if we go in a late game, it's pretty insane, but we almost never get that far.
Yeah, not too often. And looking at this match, like I like Game-O. He seems like a very hardworking Zerg. You know, he's really focusing, trying to do his best. But Shine is historically quite a strong ZVZ player. Definitely have enjoyed his ZVZ for quite some time because he is like a very aggressive type of player anyways, and he's shown some good ZVZs already in this tournament. So I'd be favoring him slightly, but the work ethic of Game-O could, come out here.
Game-O also knows he's going to be playing probably a lot of ZVZs today. This is going to be mostly Zerg versus Zergs because we have to assume that Flash probably gets out first. Any reasonable person would say that. And so you're going to have to randomize your openers a little bit, try to play the map as best you can. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and of course Andromeda is an interesting map anyways, being 4-player, having the access to that extra mineral base. I don't think that we'll see that really get used, but...
Yeah, you pretty much have to take gas bases in this map.
Yeah. Otherwise your opponent will just have more mutas than you forever, and that'll be it.
Yeah, it doesn't help you. And by the way, each player picked the background music here for what was played when they were on camera, so that's kind of cool. I like that we're doing that, kind of like a boxing match or something, or UFC.
Yeah, it'll be kind of neat to see what some of these guys pick. Like, the first thing that came to my mind is, like, what song will Mong have?
Yeah, I'd like to see that. We're about to go into this game. Again, the map is Andromeda, and we are ready. Guys, tell your friends to join us at the ASL. This is day 1 in the round of 16.
Trying to think of what my theme song would be, Tasis. I think I would choose the Happy Birthday song.
You probably have something from Weird Al Yankovic or something.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
In the bottom right, in the white, he is Shine. And in the bottom left, in the brown, Game-O.
Brown just like his eyes.
Like his doe eyes. So, guys, if you're a fan of StarCraft 2, you're going to be rooting for Shine, our GSL Code S observer.
Yeah.
Also the observer for the ASL, but I guess somebody else is doing that in the office right now because he's playing.
He was actually quite a strong StarCraft 2 pro as well.
Yeah.
Maybe not as storied as he was in StarCraft 1. But, for instance, he was always known for being aggressive and cheesy, but he actually beat Flash himself in a macro game when Flash was very good at StarCraft 2 also. So, that's just a little side note.
So let's go ahead and explain how ZVZ works overall. It really does come down to the fact that Lings are strong and fast, especially when you get the speed upgrade. and therefore have to be respected, and also that the Mutalisk is the best unit in the game.
Yeah, those are very, very important to mention. Also, there's Zerg. There's no way to fudge Zerglings other than AI. So, like, for instance, if you are watching this, because this is maybe in the GSL channel and you're a StarCraft 2 guy, you might be thinking, like, well, mass Zerglings don't work that much. You get a Baneling or Queens or something. No, no, no. None of that exists. So the best you can do against Zerglings is screw up their AI with, like, a Sunken and some drones. And then you're going to lose some drones, but that can be okay, because if you know, if you get enough of the Lings to die because of that, then suddenly you're ahead on the larva once again.
That's right. And so during this race to try to get Mutalisks while still surviving Lings from your opponent, placement is very important. And that's actually why we see, for instance, this pool hugging this extractor over here. If they want to, same with this pool touching this extractor, you can fit, for instance, a sunken colony right in the upper left here, between the pool and below the extractor. And you can cover yourself from a lot of Zerglings coming up here to trying to run you over with that.
These building placements, they can literally fit a Spire and a Sunken in these, and the Sunken will cover everything against Zerglings. So you always are taking these type of things into consideration, especially in ZVZ.
So if you're too greedy and you tech too fast to Mutas, you can get run over by Lings. At the same time, if you're too aggressive with Lings, you can end up getting outplayed by Mutas.
It's very, very true.
And so, you know, how do you play? Well, a lot of this depends on, for instance, the ramp. Can you get an expansion? On Andromeda, your natural expansion's pretty open. So you're at risk of getting run over by Lings.
Yeah, and just even taking a natural expansion can be dangerous in and of itself, because your opponent will get to Mutas first. One base Muta is quite a common build. Now, an interesting question also in ZVZ early game, if they're both staying on one base, sometimes you'll see someone skip Zergling speed and just go into layer, to, you know, and then you have 100 more gas and you have a quicker layer. And I don't know if either of them have chosen to do that route. We see a layer over there for Shine.
Well, it's also important. It's also important to note what happens in a ZVZ if you're both going one hatch, because sometimes it's two players both going two hatches, or one hatch versus two hatch, but they're both on one hatch right now, which makes it getting the second hatchery kind of tricky. Since you're going to have roughly the same number of Lings and roughly the same number of Mutalisks.
Yeah, and it also gets tricky because suddenly you have less Mutas. You're playing on this like one base economy, right? So microing them against Scourge is going to take even longer. So, like, for instance, you can technically kill Scourge with a Muta, but that is going to take a very long time. Oh my God, this is gets a drone there.
Yeah, now
that's really nice.
Remember, because you're solo on drones, if you kill one drone, you might have taken out like 1/7 of all the minerals that is coming in. So getting one drone is very smart. We see in this case Shine just sending Lings out in pairs to try to run into the main. Also, it looks like because some Lings have been thrown away, we have Gameo he's going to try to come up here and bust the ramp, but this is going to be very tough to bust. Gameo's going to have a considerably larger amount of Lings. And we also saw that some of the Lings were kept back by Shine, so that the Gameo would feel a little bit more confident trying to get up there, and then you bring the rest of the Lings up with that, and they realize they've overextended.
Whoa.
Okay, hold up.
Oh my God,
Two
Shine
Lings.
going to get another couple Lings in there, continuing to hold his ramp in a very nice concave, just stalling out Gameo's bigger amount of Lings.
Oh, this is pretty big. These Lings had to take out Shine's Lings. If Shine could just get one drone, that would be huge. Shine also at the same time has to make sure he has control at the top of the ramp and doesn't have his Lings, spilling down out of the bottom.
Both Spires are going to be finishing up here. We'll see what hatches out. Should be some Mutas for both sides. Being able to pick off Overlords, being able to help out in these Ling fights, both very important.
For now, it seems that Shine's actually managed to keep control of the high ground. We only have 4, or was it 4 or 5? I'm sorry, 4. I think it was 4 drones mining for Gameo, where I think Shine had 6 or 7. Now hold up.
Well, now he suddenly has a lot more Zerglings, and that is what happened. So a couple of Mutas pop out, and they are going to add some damage onto these Zerglings.
Not a single drone killed there.
Yeah.
Shine is playing the ZVZ of his life right now. He's doing a really good job. Now, he has a slight lead because of the drone advantage, but of course, if you're on one hatch, it's kind of hard to get anti-air, right? You don't have a lot of drones. You don't have a lot of larvae. So there's always a chance that Gameo might try to make a beeline inside of Shine's main and try to hit some drones and then run back out.
Well, this is why right now Shine is kind of doing laps around his base, right? He's looking to pick off anything he can if there's a couple Lings or something like that. If he kills them now, they won't be able to get in there and get a drone. So gaining that type of control, very important. And if you have a slight advantage as far as Mutas go, that pays off big time. Like if you have one more Muta, you win.
Yeah, exactly.
When you fight.
Muta upgrades can be very important. It's a little bit tricky to try to get it just off one base with one gas, but I think, and I'm not 100% sure on this. I might actually have to ask Day1 or somebody who's more acquainted with ZVZ, since I'm Protoss and Artosis is Terran when we play this game competitively. But I believe you eventually get enough gas to have the armor upgrade come in.
Yeah, well, if you don't have the armor upgrade, it makes such a big difference in Muta versus Muta. The glaives bounce, right? So it like one armor upgrade reduces like 3 attack. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Now remember, the Scourge versus Muta game is important as well here. Okay, good connects there.
Oh, a couple Scourge coming up against Shine right now. He actually micros very well. That's it.
He did it. He actually got on the other side of the Mutas. There's no way they could retreat, and that is it. Shine has won and is going to go play against Flash Artosis.
Yeah, and just to like summarize what happened here, guys. Shine did get in and kill an extra drone and continued to try that strategy, but Shine made more drones and Gameo made more Lings. That's why Shine was taking the concave at the top of the ramp, and eventually he was able to pop out a few more Mutas, and that was that.
Yeah, really nicely done there by Shine. You can see Gameo tried to come in there and do some damage. I believe also Shine took out an Overlord up at the top, which would be pretty problematic because of your supply block. So Gameo tried to come in there, get an advantage, get a good connect. Shine gunned down the Scourge, got on the other side of the Mutas, and that's when the Muta fight's over, especially in one hatch versus one hatch CVZ.
Yeah, it ends very, very quickly at that point.
So congratulations to Shine, but now he has to do the hardest thing ever in all of video game history, is beat Flash.
He's done it before. So maybe he will be able to pull something off. Hyun looked pretty good, but the next map is Camelot, so I am going back to my thing where I said there wouldn't be third bases.
Yeah, we'll see what Shine tries to do to stop that. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, Shine versus Flash at the ASL.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 이런 나쁜 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방. 낑팝.
뭐야 이게? 설마 탄? 전국민 슈팅 그라운드 탄! 지금 사전 예약하세요.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
월드 오브 탱크 블리처! 맞춰주면 터지죠, 나이스? 야, 내가 제일 잘하는 것 같은데, 일반 요즘들 중에, 맞지? 소련이 좋다고? 이거 멋있더라. 사막. 오고, 자, 운전 잘해줘야죠. 뒷부다 나와! 죄송합니다. 터집니다. 똥 탱크 새끼들 앞만 보고 있지. 당원의 장성. 탱크가 너무 약해. 튕겼습니다. 튕겨 나오네. 왜 이렇게 센데, 얘 탱크. 월드 오브 탱크 블리츠 많이 사랑해 주시고요.
냄새가 나. 어두운 곳에 숨은 냄새를 풍기는 바로 너!
원인은 쾌쾌한 에어컨 냄새.
신제품 페버리지 차량용으로 상쾌하게 차량용.
프로 선수를 넘긴 거는
오재원의 타석 왼쪽 밀었습니다. 잡았습니다. 이대형 뜁니다. 정윤 뜁니다. 2루에 던집니다. 2루에서 아웃이요. 이대형 왼쪽으로 타구를 띄웠습니다. 다시 한번 포도 잡니다. 담장을 넘습니다. 이대형의 투런 홈런.
Welcome back to the ASL. It's Shine versus Flash now. Shine, our resident observer here at AfreecaTV. He obs GSL and ASL, but he's not observing today. Today he's competing. And I'm wondering what he's going to do against Flash here, because I think you and I are on the same page, Artosis, where I don't feel like it's easy for Zerg to get a third base. And Zerg basically can't go into mid-game without having a third base.
Well, Camelot especially is going to be a very tough map against Terran. And Flash will probably just wall in, and then if anything goes haywire, make 2 bunkers, and that's like kind of holds you until your tech. So it's tough. Shine is one of the cheesiest players literally in the history of StarCraft 1. Like, this guy, like, I'm not even talking trash right now, even though I would have back in the day. I'm an older man.
Because you're
I
a salty Terran player.
Yeah, but he is literally, like, there's a lot of players that would be very cheesy, but he's the one that was, like, the best at it.
Yeah.
Like, he would all in so often and stuff. So he definitely knows how to beat somebody who is considered better in a macro game, and his macro is not bad.
And there are a lot of dirty tricks Zerg can try to pull off to kill the Terran before the game really gets going.
It's hard, though, because if Terran sniffs it at all and makes bunkers, it's over.
Yeah.
And then, like, you have no drones, and you have all these units that aren't going to do anything, and it's like, oh, no.
Zerg in all 3 of the matchups have tricks where they can just get in there and kill you right away.
Yeah.
You know, but if the Protoss makes the cannons, if the Terran makes the bunker, and if the Zerg makes Lings, it doesn't work. And it's very hard to get momentum to come back from that, especially with how good these macro builds are set up. Anyways, guys, this is the winner's match. Shine versus Flash. One will move on to the round of 8. The greatest observer in all the world, Shine. See, I said that. I almost stopped myself. I was like, I don't want to hurt Funka's feelings, but I got to hype Shine right now. In the bottom right, Flash. Look at him destroy that Bakari sweat bottle.
Oh, my gosh. That's like a Korean Gatorade, by the way, guys, if you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
He holds it in his mouth. Look at that.
He's one of those guys.
Do you remember we were talking?
You get cavities, Flash. You better brush your teeth when you get home, buddy.
Do you remember we were, this is when I had met you. I think we were in Italy.
Yeah.
One of the first times I had been with you overseas. You were competing and I was casting at WCG.
Yep.
You were watching Draco.
2004?
Yeah.
No, that was 2006.
Yeah.
It was Italy. Yeah.
And Draco, we were watching him play, and we were like,
so funny.
we were like, doesn't it look like he just like is holding his mouth full of water when he plays. Like the way his jaw was.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then we started talking about, wouldn't it be crazy if he actually had a goldfish in his mouth? And it's not allowed,
to not swallow it
until the game's done.
On top of playing Protoss at a professional level. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Yeah, it was good times.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you get somebody playing a game like this, and they're so focused. They don't care what their facial expression is.
Oh,
you know,
no.
you have to just like.
If you think about your facial expression, all you are going to lose.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if that's on your mind, you're not focusing enough to beat a pro gamer.
Yeah,
that is that. I've actually had that happen in tournaments before, where I would start thinking about
self-conscious
like,
how you appear.
Do I look weird right now? And then I'm like, oh, I am screwed.
And then
man.
Ling's run by my cannons, and I'm like, I guess I'm going to lose now because I was self-conscious.
Yeah, you got to just like let everything go. You must truly focus to win a game of StarCraft 1, 2, whatever.
So, by the way, Shine actually, so far, playing a very macro-oriented opener.
Sure.
Went for hatchery first. And it looks like, I believe that's the barracks in low ground.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Okay. Flash is just setting up to get a quick expansion down here on the low ground and move into the macro game.
Yeah, nothing too cray from either side. I mean, the most obvious cheeses like 4 pools and 6 pools and stuff generally just don't work. If you have good micro as a Terran, you'll get like a Marine out, and then your SCVs have 60 health, so you basically just kill Lings with them.
Yeah.
I mean, Lings attack fast and stuff.
The SCV is a very beefy worker unit.
Yeah.
When compared to like the drone or the probe, the drone and the probe have advantages to them as well. And then they
like
have ranged attack.
Yeah, on one-on-one fights, they actually every worker is considered range, but they like SCV is range 0.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because listen, I know everything about Dark Swarm, Tasis, and everything about why Terran units don't do anything under it. Okay, because I tell you what, if SCVs could do damage to something under Dark Swarm, I would have 10 command centers back in the day macroing against that crap.
I gotta counter this with SCVs.
It's like, how many times did Rhett kill me with 1 lurker? He has like 1 lurker left, throws on a Dark Storm. Like, I guess this is a 30-minute game now.
So interestingly enough, and I would not expect this from Flash. Flash built on top of the gas geyser, which I was under the impression if they went hatch first, you don't do this. But I guess he's going to go ahead and do it. What this does is it forces a Zerg to make the extractor their expansion because it's so important that Zerg get gas up like right away.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Like if you don't have enough drones over there yet, or it's going to keep some Lings on there as well, I guess. So your SCV is an easy time staying alive. But yeah, normally you don't see that if they go hatch first.
And I would especially not expect that from Flash, but he's got the timing mapped out enough where maybe it's more the Zerg loses more by having to transfer the drones and everything.
Evolution Chamber. This is highly interesting.
I did not think that Shine was going to play this way, but
okay. So for the Evolution Chamber guys, he's getting +1 carapace. This is very good against Bile. It's just like really important to keep your units alive. Basically, if you have melee units fighting against range units, they need to live long enough to get there so that they can deal damage. So that's just the general thought behind getting the carapace. To get it this fast can throw Flash off a little bit. Like you normally do not see such a quick Evolution Chamber nowadays. So that's it. This is neat. Oh, in a Hydralisk Den. Okay, so it's probably just going to be Lurker Ling with +1 carapace is my best guess. There is a slight chance that it could be like a +2. All right, sorry, just a plus ranged attack, just because Lurkers do technically 2-shot Marines, but if a medic heals immediately, then it's 3 shots. Yeah. I don't think it'll be that. I think almost certainly it'll be the +1 carapace. But anyways, it really neat out of Shine that this is what he's going for, and I appreciate that he's not going Spire, because I get shocked when people go Spire against Last or Flash.
Yeah, well, especially in these in spawns like this.
Yeah,
on this map, it's like, well, you are in cross spots. You're literally as far away from each other as you could possibly be. Well, it looks like he almost wants to go for this Battle Zerg style of play where he actually wants to pick a fight in the middle of the map. And by the way, Shine completely zoned out the SCV from scouting this. When you go 3 hatches like this, if you notice, it kind of looks like he connected it like it was StarCraft 2 creep. But you put that hatchery there specifically because then this is more locations for Terran to have to scan to figure out if you're going Lurkers or Mutalisks.
And a scan is the same size as a hatchery and all the creep around it. So if it's very easy to place your buildings correctly to screw up Terran scanning, trying to figure you out. And of course, like scans, there's some strategy on when you get them because you do miss a lot of SCV production time while they're building, and of course they do cost a little bit of money, 50-50. But this is really cool that this is how Shine is doing it, and I love that this drone is already down here, ready to go. And I think you're very right when you said Battle Zerg. Like, he actually, with this, like, if he didn't get an Evolution Chamber, he might just try to run in and catch Flash off guard, but he's going to try to, like, kill the army. If he can kill the army one time...
Yeah, he can actually probably pounce on the natural if he kills the army.
He'll at least have map control on the third base.
So he did not send Hydras out in the middle of the map to try to get lurkers to make sure that he could secure the expansion. But he's getting 5 lurkers back at home. So Flash may go for a contain approach here, but that might be what Shine actually wants in this case.
Yeah, he'll make a big round of Lings, then run at the Marines, and the lurkers will come out right behind, and then Flash mostly has to stim and run away. Like, he can fight a little bit, but like with the +1 carapace Lings, if he gets a surround on those Marines and the lurkers burrow, lights out for the army.
Now, this is a fight where it can go either way. TVZ, I can't emphasize this enough, because a lot of times people will watch a game when I'm showing people like Brood War, for instance, and they're like, oh, it seems like this unit beats this unit. Like, it seems like Medic Marine just beat lurkers. But then you can watch the next game and the lurkers completely annihilate the Medic Marine.
Yeah.
It's all about how you engage. If the lurkers can get a good lined up shot, the Marines die so fast it's hilarious. But if the Marines can get any kind of arc and try to dodge the lurker spines or gun down the Lings or back away, then the Zerg units die. And we're about to see this right here, right now. Okay, that was a really good escape there by Terran.
Yeah, that was well done. It almost seemed like Shine was going to get around him, but running up right now. You left 1 lurker burrow, though. Good move by Shine.
So that was actually a technique to leave 1 lurker there so you can rotate around that. And if the Terran tries to go in, they're going to start to lose units. But again, Zerg has not taken a third base. So Flash is probably still fine trying to... Okay, hold up. Ling's going down here. Can he block him from getting out?
Dude, he has so many Lings right now. These Marines are not going to live through this at all. That +1 carapace helping out immensely as well. I really like the way that Shine is approaching this game, but he needs to get a third up now.
So this is the moment that a lot of the Terrans, like Last...
Of course.
This is the moment where specifically Last and Flash are so good at is delaying the third base. And it's so important that Zerg gets a third up, and that's why I was hoping that we'd see Shine send 2 Hydras out and try to get lurkers up at that ramp at the bottom left. And he's actually going to go for a drop, Artosis.
Yeah, this is super duper neat, but even the fact that he's over here, like this could be to try to run around the Terran army, but Flash might be sniffing this out as well. Let's see if he actually takes any precautions against it.
This is such a smart play here by Shine.
Oh my god, Flash does not know Tasis.
Okay, and here's the thing. The Marines are already all the way back. If he can get the lurkers over the command center, and especially towards the entrance where they have to run back in, he might just win this game.
This is a crazy move right now, dropping out these lurkers. He's got to make this work. Getting into this mineral line, a scan comes out. There is a siege tank. That's a big deal here. It clears lurkers very quickly.
Okay, he needs to unburrow probably and jump up forward. He's also going to try to attack the front while this is going on. This is the moment that Shine could actually win this game.
Flash still picking off some units that are trying to reinforce across. A scan goes down. The +1 carapace really helping these units to stay alive a lot longer. Another scan, but more Lings are coming in to screw up these Marines.
He needs to get these lurkers in front of the tanks. If he can just get in range of these tanks, and he will not. It's going to get cut down. Oh, he needs a scan.
Does have that other scan as well. Hasn't been able to kill off the scanner here at the main base.
Yeah, I think Shine was a little bit slow on capitalizing on this position here in the main. Now, there's a science vessel on the way, but I don't think, actually, with how long lurkers have been burrowed, that there's any more scans left right now.
Yeah, there's probably not, but with the science vessel popping out, he can clear out these lurkers. Shine might want to just pick these up and run when the science vessel comes.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Okay, so keep in mind the tank is incredibly helpful here because the Marines don't have to directly engage this. He's also getting ready in case there's a pickup here to try to gun down the overlords that are holding the lurkers. He does not want these lurkers to get back out. The more lurkers Zerg have, the better off they are, and the more options they have for possible fights to pick.
Yeah, in fact, like Shine did a good job randomizing when to move the lurkers back. You actually heard a pre-stim when the tank was attacking because he assumed that Shine might run right then. But yeah, this was a really good move by Shine, even the additional burrow. I love it.
Shine's actually doing... Okay, you have to have 2 Scourge connect to the science vessel to kill it.
Oh, man.
But that was a smart move by Shine. I got to say, Shine is really tactically approaching this like a genius, but Flash is still holding on. He's still defending this.
Yeah, don't forget, Shine doesn't have a third base up in mining, so even though he has hurt Flash here, he's hurt his economy, it is not over quite yet. Oh, my God. That was a great sandwich.
Okay, he's burrowing his lurkers down here now. Every SCV that's picked off is huge.
The siege tank is placed here, though, so is going to end up losing these lurkers. Still, the economy of Flash is not super good. He's lost so many SCVs this game. But the fact that he caught some of those overlords, I'm not sure which ones he caught.
Yeah, we don't know which ones were full.
Yeah, there was like 3 lurkers, so maybe he got out with them, maybe 1, maybe 2, who knows. That was a good move by Flash.
It's only one science vessel, I believe, so far. If he can just get a pick-off on this, then Terran is not going to have that much map control. Now, there's no defilers out, so it's going to be a lot of brute strength here to win this. Good job there.
And a crazy move here with this split. Good spines coming out of the lurkers there, killing a decent amount of Marines. The Marines will get on this hatchery, but there is +2 carapace as well here, so definitely something to consider.
This has been a pretty interesting game. Now, even though the Zerg doesn't have a third base, the Terran's economy is pretty badly crippled. Terran is going to try to do a counter push here. This may work, but there's a lot of lurkers coming up here with these Lings, and if he sieges up and tries to hold his ground and loses the fight, Zerg will get a third base up no matter what.
Oh! Now, this is a standard move right there. You run up Lings with the Scourge, and the AI of the Marines makes them attack Lings over Scourge. Scourge are very low priority, so he was able to pick off that science vessel, which means you need even more scans here as Flash, but he does have the double comsat, so I don't think it's too much a problem.
Right now, Flash is really trying to press hard. Was he trying to drop on that?
He just dropped a Hydra there.
He's like trying to Hydra bomb the tanks.
I don't even understand that one, but okay. The army of Flash now might just be too big.
Yeah, although I really appreciate what Shine tried to do here.
Totally. Ooh, 6 spines. Oh, my God.
It seems like that's going to be it. GG. Shine has lost. Flash is our, very fittingly, first player to move on.
Yeah. It's what you would expect. Shine wasn't able to really get a third base up and mining. The hatch finished, technically, I guess. But you know what? I think both he and Hean approach Flash in the right way. They weren't playing completely standard games. They were trying to tactically and strategically outplay him, which is very hard in StarCraft 1 against a Terran player because Terran is so rock solid when you got a player like Flash playing.
Yeah, the mechanical ability of Flash. I agree with you 100%, Artosis. The fact that he tried to go for that drop, it almost worked, too.
Yeah.
I think had he Flash not spotted that right away, he could have gotten in there, taken out all those SCVs. And then with the counterattack, or not the counterattack, or the attack on the natural, I think it would have been better if Shine came from behind there as well.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, time for the interview here with Flash. First player advancing to round of 8. Once again, you made it to the round of 8.
게임이 너무 빡셌어가지고 두 판 다.
Yeah, I'm really glad I made it.
좋았던 것 같아요. 예.
It was actually really tough matches tonight. I was lucky today.
어떤 몇 번째 경기일까요?
예, 안드로메다에서 아무래도 서플이
Out of the 2 matches, which one was tougher?
거의 200까지 뚫려 있다가 100까지 내려갔었어요. 빨간불이 100개가 들어와가지고 좀 많이 당황했었는데 다행히 그때
Well, he's talking about the match against Hean right now.
다행히 좀 침착하게 했던 게 이길 수 있었던 것 같아요.
예, 이렇게까지 힘들게 올라가리라는 생각은 2승이지만 예, 조를 짰을 때 솔직히 만족했었잖아요. 예, 그런데 와, 이거 첫 번째 경기부터 안드로메다에
during the crisis moments, he felt like he managed them pretty well and was able to come back.
정말 많이 놀랐을 것 같아요.
예, 일단 되게 놀랐고요. 근데 안드로메다에서는 뭔가 진짜 쉽지 않은 게임이 될 거라고 생각했어요.
It seems like you didn't expect the mutas with one muta scouting your base. What did you think when you saw that?
역시나 쉽지 않았어요, 진짜. 게임이.
그럼 이
said, oh, well, you know, when I saw him draw it, I just knew matches would be tough there. And as I expected, that was a tough game.
제 개념상은
All Terrans do hate Entron.
방업을 찍으면서 드랍이 안 된다는
I hate it against Protoss. I hate it against Zerg.
I love it. I hate it against Protoss player.
지나 이런 생각을
Talk about
했는데
against Shine now, the Overlord drops.
그래도 좀 제가 장점이 움직임이거든요. 움직임으로 이긴 것 같아요.
What were you thinking about that?
경기에서도 패배하지 않고 오히려 한 단계 더 지원할 것 같은
didn't really expect it.
멋진 이용호 선수인데 계속해서 이런 멋진 모습 보여줬으면 좋겠습니다.
Somehow I
멋진 경기
was able to manage it physically, and I won the fights.
응원해주시는 팬분들 정말 많잖아요.
And that actually helped me to win the match.
많이 와주셨어요. 인사 한 말씀 하셔야죠.
예, 일단 이번 시즌 저번 시즌 우승 이후에 또 8강까지 올라갔는데
You have a lot of fans out there, and even at the studio. Say some words to your fans.
전 시즌 우승자에 걸맞는 경기력하고 8강 이제 전 진짜 이제 8강부터 시작이라고 생각해요. 5판 3성으로
As a
다전제로
previous
치러지기
season's
때문에
champion,
자신 있고
I want to show great performance.
네, 축하드립니다. 이영호 선수 정말 수고하셨습니다.
And I have huge confidence to make it further.
네, 오늘
So
8강
keep
첫
supporting
번째
me.
진출자인 이영호 선수
Alright.
만나봤습니다.
Well, it's very fitting Flash moves on first.
Yeah.
He just played very, very well. But I think Shine is still a good contender to get out.
Oh yeah, his ZVZ is quite strong. But next we have Hean versus Game-O.
That's right. We'll be going to that after this short break, guys, so don't go away. We'll be back soon here at the ASL.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
치키치키 찰칵치키 촉촉촉 이겨라 요괴들아. 뭐가 그리 급하셔? 스노공 디펜스 다운로드 받으라고. 어? 팔개야 뭐하냐? 그냥 여기 있다. 그냥 준비됐으셔. 신규 영웅 업데이트 스노공 디펜스 다운받으셔.
이게 도대체 뭐야? 대박! 소름! 사돈 등록하면은 소미 캐릭터 준대요.
그래서 우리는 인공지능 어플로 한 가지 실험을 해봤습니다.
면접 때 어떤 옷을 입는 게 좋을까?
얼마 전에 산 하늘색 셔츠 있죠?
부모님한테 면접 떨어진 걸 말 못했는데
부모님도 아마 알고 계실 거예요. 자신감을 가지세요.
이 놀라운 기술의 비밀은
아빠! 기죽지 말고. 기 안 죽지. 누가 아들인데.
영상 왔다. 잘못 냈다가는 어떤 취급받으냐면 김종국 취급받습니다. 황간창법. 생각의 전환이 조금 필요합니다. 고음부터 빡 주세요. 뭐야? 진짜 본인 목소리예요? 아니 톤이 너무 신기해가지고 나는. 뭐야? 노렸어요?
월드 오브 워시. 야, 쟤 잠수함이냐? 쾌속선. 커와이네. 이게 못 맞추네, 씨. 고티어 베타멜 민폐입니다. 누구시죠? 저희 죄송한데 혹시 운영자님이십니까? 나의 꿈과 희망을 실어서 간다! 올해 김현봉. 호초, 불라. 야, 뭐야, 블랙홀이야? 은신.
Welcome back to the ASL. It's time for the rest of our ZVZs.
Yes, indeed. Hean versus Gemo coming up next. The winner will go up against Shine, who does have some fearsome ZVZ. Camelot going to be our map here, Tasteless, and of course, very wide open, so definitely could be one of these one-hatch versus one-hatch games. In fact, I would expect
I think you're right.
much.
So you don't have a ramp like you do on some other maps, like Python or Fighting Spirit, where you have a tight area. We could have two hatch though as well. We'll have to see what they're going to open up with.
Yep.
One hatch is pretty tricky to play off of. Hean did a really good job against Flash. Obviously, Flash did manage to defeat him, but Hean was really showing that he has a lot of strategic depth. And we've talked about this before, but ZVZ looks really simple, but it's actually like menacingly complex. And there's so many different tricks and maneuvers you can try to pull off to get ahead.
A lot of micro to it, a lot about having killer instinct and being decisive.
Yeah.
Decisivity is so important with Zerg. Like, if you make a move, you got to follow through with it, man. Your units have no health and you have no drones. So get things done. Get on it.
Let's see what these two guys are going to do. The loser of this match is out of the ASL. Whoever wins here goes on to face off against Shine, who's already played some really good games here today.
Yeah. Shine is looking strong. In fact, Hean played a nice game as well. Gemo just having a hard time in that ZVZ, but there's still time for him to prove himself, Tasteless.
All right, guys, we're moments away from starting this. We will see what mind games are played out here, and if they're going to lean more on Lings and try to overwhelm each other, or if we will get to that mute attack. Our last ZVZ that we casted, it ended definitively when the two mutas engaged each other.
Yep.
All right, let's go, guys. This is the losers match. A ZVZ. In the bottom right, in the blue, Hean. In the upper left, in the red, Gemo.
And by the way, guys, we are back on twitch.tv/GSL, and the ASL channel will be thrown away, I think, tomorrow.
That's right. We're going to keep all the StarCraft tournaments, whether it's StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2, in the same space.
Yes.
So it's easier for you guys to follow.
Indeed. So definitely check that out. But, Tassels.
What's up, Artosis?
Who wins this?
I think it should be Hean, just looking at how Gemo played that last ZVZ.
Okay.
But it's a very hard call.
All right, let's see when they take their spawning pools here, and a lot of it can just come down to the micro. You can still make like concaves and stuff inside the chokes, but it's not nearly as effective as being on the high ground.
Yeah, the more open the area is to access the main, the more likely we are to see both players focus on Zerglings. There are situations where you can go like one hatch into a spawning pool and extractor and try to rush to the Mutalisks by turtling. It really depends on what the position is on the map that you're in, because some spawns have better turtling setups than others. But I don't know if we're going to have it here. It would seem like Gemo would be in a better position to try to do that, the turtle rush to the Spire, where one guy goes all in with Lings, the other guy tries to survive, and then just get one Mutalisk over the other guy's base.
Yeah, that can be really hard, as you said, to pull off, though, because, like, for instance, you look at that last game and how Shine was able to get up to the mutas a little bit more quickly, a few more mutas. It's because he had that nice concave on the top of the ramp, so it's like takes a long time to break with Ling versus Ling, and you need to be able to slow your opponent down a little bit.
It should be noted that in Brood War, the expansion area where the drones are mining from, or any expansion area where any workers are mining from, for melee units to engage that, it's a lot scarier and more complicated than you would guess. Even though the workers are weak, if you right-click on either a mineral patch or let's say an extractor, and you have all your drones selected, because the workers move through each other when they're mining, because otherwise it would be totally inefficient to mine, they'll move through opposing attacking units, and in this case that would be Zerglings. And when they move through that, you can then tell them to attack. It looks almost like a drone train or a probe train or an SCV train.
We call it a drill.
Yeah, we call it drilling. So what you can do then is hit attack, and it forces the melee attacking units to try to find surface area to then, within the programming, to find that surface area so they can stand again. So those workers can do damage while that's happening. So you want to be very careful when you're trying to engage in with that. And there's something else I wanted to point out. It's very subtle. He's hiding 4 Lings down here. And these are the little mind games in ZVZ that might not look like much, but are actually a lot, because he's only showing 4 and now 6.
Yeah, it makes it look like he's a little bit more drone heavy than he actually is, so it might be able to catch him off guard. You have 4 more Lings, then you win the Ling battle.
Exactly. So he may be waiting for Ling speed to finish up here. And see, he still has those 4 down here. And I'm guessing that when Ling speed finishes, he's going to make a beeline to this base and try to win by overwhelming him with Lings. Okay, so those 4 Lings, now there it is. Speed's done.
Yeah, big attack coming out right now here from Hean.
And the difference of 4 extra speedlings is crazy in Brood War.
Yeah, this could be a very tough one. Aspire on the way right now for Game-O. Pulling a couple of drones up to the natural.
He's transferring. These drones are going to have to help with the fight.
Yeah. Sitting in front here. That's going to mess up the AI of his opponent here. Speed finishes just now for Game-O.
Okay, he's coming forward now. I think Hean might have too much. A few more Lings do come in. Now notice how he's going to try to block over here at this entrance, but it seems like Hean might just have too much momentum here.
Yeah, Hean has done a great job of hiding his Ling count a little bit, killing off all these Lings so far. With that extra hatchery, he does have a few more larvae to make Lings with. Oh, Hean goes back and tries to catch some as they hatch, but they barely get away.
Yeah, you want to try to get up there around that egg and then kill the Lings as they're popping out. Now, there's a Spire making for Game-O, while I don't think there's a Spire even making yet for Hean. So if he can get one Mutila Scout and send it back, then he can start killing workers. Remember that it's not like StarCraft 2 where you have like a queen or something that's a natural anti-air.
Yeah, you have to make spores or your own Spire.
Okay, Hean's now snowballing here with these Lings, but a few more Lings hatch here for Game-O.
Yeah, still more Lings coming up for Hean. He's trying to break through, and in fact, he's going to be able to kill off all the Lings, but is this enough time for Game-O to get out some Mutas to help put some damage down?
Now keep in mind the Mutas may be forced to stay back to try to defend. I still don't see a Spire here.
No.
So he's just going hard right now with these Lings. In fact, it seems like almost for Hean, the lair was an attempt to disguise this Ling rush.
Yeah, it seems almost like that, but look at that. He's doing a great job with it, killing off these drones that came up as well for Game-O. He's going to end up losing this hatchery. A few more Lings popping out. Great surround there by Hean, killing one off, damaging the other.
Lings now moving in here. It's going to be up to the drones and the Lings and hopefully a Muta or something here to defend, but even then, I don't know if it's going to be out in time.
No, these Lings are going to kill so much. Oh, only Zerglings popping out. The Zerglings can fight against those rather easily. Good messing up of the AI by Game-O for a moment there, running the Ling away, but it's not enough in GG.
Yep. That was a great play there by Hean. Threw him off and took him out before he got to that muted tech. And it was all because of those 4 Zerglings hidden at the bottom. You know, when you have melee units attacking each other, especially Lings, and the first few units die on one side, it tends to snowball in a fight. So having 4 more Zerglings
it's a big deal.
than your opponent in ZVZ, that's huge, especially when you win that initial fight, because then you could try to eliminate those Lings that are going to try to head back and regroup with the initial
Well, you have your
army.
Lings in between the hatches,
right?
So you start catching extra Lings that are completely free, because 2 Lings hatch and they're not going to fight against 8 Lings.
And even if you don't kill all those Lings that are running back, they're taking damage when they're moving.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes enough. I think Game-O did a good job trying to bring his drones up. Remember that the attacking units always prioritize attacking units over workers, even if the workers are attacking with that army. So putting the drones in there was pretty good, but ultimately it wasn't enough. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, Shine versus Hean for our final match in the ASL.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 이런 나쁜 말 들어본 적 있어? 모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보. 다방면으로 보자. 다방.
뭐야 이게? 설마 탄?
전국민 슈팅 그라운드 탄! 지금 사전 예약하세요.
논해보려고 해요. 남들 지적하고 이런 거 못하거든요. 남들한테 관심이 없어요. 목욕탕 갈 때 입는 옷을 평소에도 이렇게 입고 다니시는 건가요? 가오가 정신을 지배한 듯. 비율과 얼굴이 중요하다고 생각합니다. 얼굴이 크면은 이렇게 되거든. 이거 탄피인가요? 탄피인가요 이거? 근데 자켓은 이쁘네요. 이게 남자분들 여리여리. 여러분들 오늘 즐거웠습니다.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
월드 오브 탱크 블리츠! 맞춰주면 터지죠, 나이스? 야, 내가 제일 잘하는 것 같은데, 일반 요즘들 중에, 맞지? 소련이 좋다고? 이거 멋있더라. 사막. 오, 자, 운전 잘해줘야죠. 뒷부다 나와! 죄송합니다. 터집니다. 똥탱크 새끼들 앞만 보고 있지. 당원의 장성. 탱크가 너무 약해.
튕겼습니다.
튕겨 나오네. 왜 이렇게 센데, 얘 탱크. 월드 오브 탱크 블리츠 많이 사랑해 주시고요.
냄새가 나. 어두운 곳에 숨은 냄새를 풍기는 바로 너!
바로 너!
원인은 쾌쾌한 에어컨 냄새. 신제품 페브리즈 차량용으로 상쾌하게. 차량용.
프로 선수를 넘긴 거네.
오재원의 타석 왼쪽 밀었습니다. 잡았습니다. 이대형 뜁니다. 정윤 뜁니다. 2루에 던집니다. 2루에서 아웃이요. 이대형 왼쪽으로 타구를 띄웠습니다. 다시 한번 뻗어 잡니다. 담장을 넘습니다. 이대형의 투런
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ASL. We're going into our final game. What time is it? How long have we been casting for?
Yeah,
I think it's been like an hour and 20 minutes.
Something like that.
This is going to be
very quick.
I think our shortest day of casting ever.
Ultimate record of all time.
That's right. We're speed running through this cast.
Shouldn't have even come in today.
That's right.
Should have just tweeted the cast of the games.
Lings and mutas.
Wow, he hit 4 Lings. He won.
This is all because the matchup Zerg versus Zerg is statistically the shortest matchup. It's a tricky matchup at that. And we saw the Hean completely duped Game-O, hid those 4 Lings, and then snowballed that game as Game-O was trying to get the Spire out.
That's right.
He basically got the kill at the exact right time. There was no mutas there to save the drones in time. Hean overran his opponent. Let's just say, like, okay, what happens if the Lings come out and they're all taken out? There's like 1 or 2 drones mining. Well, then Hean just makes an evolution chamber and a spore and does whatever he wants because the other guy's on 1 worker. What will happen this game, I don't know. I feel like both Shine and Hean have shown that they understand the depth and all these different tactics that ZVZ require.
Yeah,
I think it's anybody's game.
They're both sneaky snakes for sure. So anything could occur now.
All right, guys, let's go. Our last match of the night, Shine versus Hean. That was me on the guitar.
I could tell,
yeah.
I was wondering why you brought your guitar to work today.
Yeah, that's right. In the bottom right, in the red, Shine. In the upper left, in the white, Hean.
Here's a question.
Go ahead.
Do you call this work?
Do I call this work?
When you talk about this, do you call it work to the people you talk to about it too?
Oh, like if like let's say somebody's calling me and they're like, "Hey, do you want to meet up this evening?" And I'm like, I would say I have to go to work. Yeah, but I love my work. So,
yeah. Oh, for sure. I was just wondering if you call it work or not, right? Because like I could see calling it like
the best
I
job
have to go
for me in the world.
or I have GSL tonight or whatever. Like I mean, obviously you probably say various things, but I just was wondering if you call it work or
I've called it work before.
Because it doesn't feel like work.
No, it's the best job in the world, and you're doing what you love. This is a 4-player map. They are in cross spots. Lings are still a viability, though.
Yeah.
It's obviously a longer travel distance. Also, this map has a lot of open areas in the center, so you can actually maneuver around overlords if you get a good read, which is something to watch out for.
For sure. It definitely looks like Shine is going to be most likely the aggressor coming up. Hean droning a bit longer.
Also, the distance from your main to your natural is actually pretty far. So if you can have Lings hitting both locations, it's pretty strong. Now, what it appears that Hean is doing is just getting a later spawning pool and extractor than Shine has. And one's not necessarily better than the other. If you make your extractor and pool just right after them, then it's basically better because you probably had another drone.
That's actually exactly right. Like, this is a very basic thing about ZVZ is, like, if you have one more drone than your opponent, you're leading. So, yeah, like, if you can somehow, like, let's say you scout in opposite directions and your opponent doesn't scout with your Overlord and you scout with your Overlord, you have a big advantage because you get to see when they make their pool, and you can make your pool, like, a drone after or 2 drones after, let's say. And that in and of itself is nice.
Now, note that Hean is getting another hatchery, and we don't see Shine doing that. And part of that's because Shine can't afford it, but Shine's going to be teching a little bit quicker. He has not found his opponents. Both these guys are still in the dark. They still need to get a read on what the other player's doing and then figure out, like, what's the best way to respond to that.
And Shine, Hean taking this extra base, and the fact that there's this many Lings already out on the map and he doesn't know about it, this could go very wrong for him.
Yeah, Hean down here with these slow Lings. Now, keep in mind, Shine's Ling speed if he's getting it. And there are moments where you don't necessarily get Ling speed because you're just trying to have enough pressure, but then you're teching to mutas behind it. But, yeah, I mean, if he got his if they're both going for Ling speed and one guy got the pool a little bit later, then Ling speed would finish first for Shine. So let's see if that occurs over here. Also, Ling speed's done.
Yeah. Big drone pull here for Hean. He's taking this very seriously as he saw it coming with that one Scoutling.
Ooh, good targeting. Good targeting. Shaved off one in the front.
It was basically a free drone right there. The drone's definitely messing up the AI quite a bit, and Hean is holding tight so far, but still a Ling advantage here for Shine, continuing to rally up.
I actually think Hean's going to hold this.
Yeah, it looks like it, just barely.
Now, how many drones do we have? We have 2 there. I don't know if we're going to get a shot of the main here.
Okay, so that's like 7 drones mining minerals and 2 on gas or so?
Yeah, it's about 9 to 10 drones. And I think he's making a spire in that nook over there. And it's, I think that was 6 drones total up there in Hean's base. So he lost a good amount of workers. Now he has 2 hatches.
Yeah,
so he can make more.
It's such a big deal because really a lot of this comes down to the limiting of larva. If you can just make more than your opponent, sure, he might be down some drones, but he can spend all of these larvae right now, which is going to give him a unit advantage.
Now it's speedlings versus slowlings. It's Hean with the slowlings. So Hean has to kind of hold his position here and wait until more Lings hatch and then try to jump on top of him.
Speed finishes for him as well.
He's got speed now, you're right. See, he's trying to get in there and run. That was sick. That was really good.
That was really well done. And Hean does come down, but it's a little bit too late there. He lost those Lings almost completely for free.
More Lings are coming down here to try to meet up with this. Keep in mind the hatchery. Whenever they Shine doesn't feel like he can engage Hean, he just tries to damage the hatch to bait out his opponent. Can he get that drone?
He's putting a clock on him at the moment. Wow, a drone coming out of Hean here. So if he loses this hatchery, that's like his only advantage. Shine is playing fantastically right now.
By the way, Shine is teching up to a Spire right now, and I think this hatchery is going to go down. Hean can't save it.
Oh boy, really going wrong right now for Hean. A couple more Lings will pop out. Drones drill down to help push this back, but he's already lost the hatchery.
Now, see the position of that Spire right there? That's very intentional because it's hard for Lings to surround. In case a Ling counterattack comes in, they don't have quite as much surface area. So all Shine has to do is run back home. I don't quite know where the tech is right here for
Hean doesn't have a Spire. He absolutely doesn't. I don't think he started one. I'm like watching those white dots, and it doesn't look like it. So I think he's just going for a Ling all-in at this point. He did get a few extra larvae.
Now, it's still possible for this game to spiral out of control, but the mutas with the Lings in the ramp, that is going to seal the deal, I think.
Yeah, this is such an advantage. And look at this, the one muta going to chase these Lings. Like, do they sit there? No, they have to run away, which lets Shine get the pressure off of his back. Evolution Chamber on the way so he can get spores in his main base, but Hean is in a lot of trouble here. Shine even has a sunken up.
Okay, so he's going to try to make these spores and slow tech to mutas. Now, it's still one hatch versus one hatch. These spores it looks like they're placed really, really well. I'm not sure if these mutas can get in there in time. Hean's going to try to squeeze in and do some damage. Now, how many drones can he kill before these spores are up? There's nowhere to run with them.
He's going to get at least 2-3 drones, that's for sure. More mutas popping out, stopping Hean's attack here. Hean in so much trouble, doing no damage to Shine.
And let's see, I think I saw 1, 2, 3,
I think
4,
he killed
5,
3, 4
6.
drones.
I think there's 6 drones total there, and that's it. Hean's going to tap out as he would be losing all of his overlords on the map. Shine, the GSL and ASL observer, is moving on to the top 8. This guy's got to get back to work, Artosis, but I don't know when that's going to be.
This is too crazy. He is going to be the hero of the next wave, Schick. There's no doubt about this.
Absolutely.
Like, I think that you and I should actually, like, invite him out and break his fingers, because if we don't, then he can't observe. I was going to say,
that's true.
If he can't observe for us, if he becomes a pro gamer once again and stops observing Tasis, what are we to do?
I don't know. I mean, Shine, right now, along with Flash, are the only 2 players in the top 8.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? And beating Hean, by the way, I really thought Hean was going to be the guy that gets out first. I don't know why I decided early on that in my head that Shine would not advance. I guess I just pigeonholed him as an observer.
Tasis, he's married with children and the observer, so you would imagine all these things would coalesce into a player that cannot compete, but apparently it's not the case. He is now in the round of 8, which is crazy. And, I mean, good for him. You remember how much he was talking during that group selection ceremony?
Yeah.
Like all that trash talk and stuff? Well, here we are. Here we are. He's in the round of 8.
주인공이 됐어요.
네.
소감이 어떠신가요?
사실 좀 요새 좀 제 개인적으로 일이 좀 많아가지고 방송도 못 하고.
You are the second player to make the round of 8. How do you feel now?
사실 크게 기대를 안 하고 왔었어요. 그래가지고 솔직히.
Well, I didn't really have a lot of time to practice. I've had a lot of things I've had to take care of lately. And I didn't have very much expectation to actually make it. But, you know, with that being said, I'm quite happy that I advanced.
최종전까지 오게 된 이유는 뭐라고 생각하시나요?
사실 아까도 말씀드렸다시피
It was a tough way to make it. You know, you were in that final match.
한 게임도 못 하고 온 상태였었어요. 그래서 빌드 같은 것도 머릿속으로 혼자 그냥 컴퓨터 상대로 지어내서.
Yeah, like I said, I just didn't have much time to practice.
처음으로 썼던 빌드였기 때문에 좀 짜임새가 좀 부족했었어요. 그래가지고.
I especially couldn't practice for Terran. The build I used was pretty spontaneous. I just kind of did it on the fly.
이경도 선수와의 그 경기에서는 동일한 빌드인 상태에서 심리전을 상당히 잘 걸었었는데 그 저울링 두기 빠져나갔던 그 타이밍이 굉장히 좋았던 것 같아요.
Both you had pretty
상대
similar
오버로드
builds.
위치를 머릿속으로 생각하고 있었고 그래서 저글링 빼돌리면 상대가 예상은
Your
못할
Zergling timing was better than your opponent's.
두 번이나 빼돌렸던 게 승리하는데 크게 유효했던 것 같아요.
예, 테란전 연습이 조금 부족했지만 아주 좀 무시무시한 그런 장면을 보여줬었고.
The 2 Zerglings that ran around, they worked really well for me. He didn't scout that coming in, and it really helped me out.
그때 그 어떤 상황이었습니까? 전투를 할 때.
사실 이제
Well, you had a
이게
pretty good match
머릿속으로 생각했을
against
때
Flash.
본진 드랍을 가면은 러커를
It seemed like you almost were able to take that, but at the end, you know, he was too strong. What do you think about that?
좀 빨랐었고 그와 동시에 앞마당에 좀 들어가는 러시가 좀 깔끔하게 들어갔으면 끝낼 수
And says, I
있었는데
don't think my timing was really good enough there.
들어가는 바람에 좀 쉽게 막혔던 것 같아요.
예, 마지막 경기에서는 솔직히
I'm
어땠습니까?
just thinking about too much at the
방향으로
moment.
저울링들이 뛰어갔다가
So,
처리가 없었고
I missed my attack timing there.
가니까 11시 방향인데다가 상대는 조금은 안정적인 형태의 12%를 냈단 말이에요.
네. 사실 이제 빌드 같은 경우는 센터에서 저글링 마주쳤을 때 이제 좀 힘들겠구나 싶었는데 저글링 도착할 때 드론 한 개를 때렸는데 드론이 그냥
Now they're talking about ZVZ a bit.
이거 집중 잘하면 무조건 뚫을 수 있겠다라고 해서 되게 집중을 했었고
The last match against Hean.
와, 하이라이트가 그때였던 것 같아요. 그 조금
attacked the Zerg
좀
rush.
막힌다 싶은 상황에서
Hean was defending all
에그를 둘러싼 상태에서 때렸지 않습니까?
네, 그래서 이제 에그를 잡으면은 변수가 있다고 생각했었는데 에그에서 드론이 나오더라고요.
Shine thought if he would focus on his micro there, he could win.
힘든 상황인데 드론을 찍으시네 하면서 이제 끝낼 수 있었다고 생각했어요.
And he thought he'd keep producing Zerglings.
결국은 힘든
But
상황에서
I saw drones pop out,
살아남는데 성공을 한
and
이용환
I think
선수입니다.
there, Hean thought he was going to win the match. And so Shine realized he could just continuously attack there and break him.
영상 편지 한번 날리시죠.
이제 좀
So any
애들들도
words to your
제가
fans?
이제 같이 지내면서
And you are a Papa Zerg.
많은 일이 있어가지고
Say some words to your family.
힘들었는데 좋은 결과를 가지고 이제 집에 돌아갈 수 있어가지고 좀 집으로 돌아가는
Yeah,
사람이
it's
한달
hard for me to practice around the kids.
뭔가 좀 사가셔야죠. 네, 오늘 뭐 사가실 건가요?
But I feel really
저번에
happy.
치킨을 사가려고 그랬었는데 집에 도착하니까 애들이 자고 있더라고요.
I'm happy to bring that
저녁에
victory to
같이
home.
만찬을 즐기기보다는 다음 날에 이제 뭐 같이 놀러를
Last time I brought
가든지
chicken home after winning.
하니까
But my kids were sleeping, so we couldn't eat chicken together.
정말 다정한 아빠 이영환 선수였습니다. 오늘 정말 축하드립니다.
Well, maybe I'll just save the money this time and buy a big dinner for
오늘
everyone
마지막
later.
진출자인 이영환 선수까지
Excellent.
만나봤습니다. 이렇게 해서
Tales of being
오늘의
a dad.
일정이 모두
Yeah,
마무리가
it is hard to
됐습니다.
practice the kids around.
16강
You ever have a kid come up and pull your arm while you're trying to micro and make you lose a game,
No way,
Tasis?
man.
오늘의
Well,
경기 결과를
I can imagine that's pretty tough.
It can be frustrating.
So these are our results, guys. As you can see, it's Flash and Shine who survived. I really thought Hean was going to do better. He's such an accomplished player, but he was out ZVZ'd.
I thought Gamma was going to sneak a game tonight, to be honest, just because I was really quite a fan of him when he played those ZVPs before, and like it seemed like he was a dedicated, hardworking player. So I figured maybe he'll be able to pull a game, but wasn't able to. Kind of got outclassed here by the veteran Zergs in Hean and Shine, but maybe we'll see him next season. Who knows?
Congratulations to Shine. Definitely. Does he have a Twitter? I was going to say send him some love on Twitter. I don't even know.
I don't know.
He's a dad. He might not be on social media. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
Send him some love however you can, because that's pretty cool that the GSL Observer
I wish he was my dad.
Sitting around specking these games all day long actually does pay off. We're going to be back on Tuesday, same time, same place, and the same channel, by the way. The GSL channel now is where ASL will be hosted. We have C, Effort, Bisu, and Sulky. That is a really good group.
A ludicrous group right there.
There's a
oh
chance
my
that
God.
like C,
Anyone can die
anyone
here.
can get out, anyone can lose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Truly. Effort hasn't been doing too well in early rounds of ASL. So hopefully that curse goes away for him and he can put out some good games. But that group is like, that might be the group of death right there, Tasteless.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that. All those guys are so good. And another player who was very dominant in StarCraft 2, now in StarCraft 1, Sulky. That's always fun to see as well.
Yeah, and he has some pretty rock-solid ZVP, to be honest. Really, all of his matchups are quite good right now. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a good night of StarCraft.
Artosis, it's great to cast with you, as always. I hope you guys are enjoying watching and learning about Brood War. If you're new, StarCraft Remastered is coming out eventually, so you might as well get a head start by joining us. And I already said that. Our producer was telling us to tell you guys that we're going to be on the GSL channel, but God, I'm good.
You are just so awesome.
I already said it.
You are.
So, with that, I have permission to close the show. Guys, thank you for joining us. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday at the ASL.